Hey, good morning, everybody. This is David Pendleton, and we are going to be covering the rookie division of the St. Patrick's Day tournament. So, this week is a full tournament. I appreciate everybody tuning in this morning and watching the rookie walkthrough. Minus 14, so we did pick up 2 drops, but I am telling you, wait till you see these par 3s. I believe all 3 of them, I left them right at the pin, which is going to be really good news for you because it should be just minor tweaks to get those balls to drop into the hole. I will be playing around live tomorrow. I have a scheduled stream up on my channel so you can see what time it starts. I believe I set it for 6:30 in the morning my time. I'll play my other rookie account live. All right, so here we go. If you're not a subscriber, please become one. It would truly mean a lot to me. And if you find my videos helpful, I'm just asking, during this qualifying round, just hit that thumbs up button to like the video. All right, so here we go into hole number 1. Hole number 1, we're going to be playing this 0% at max distance of our club. And a lot of these drives, I went ahead and played at 0% today. These wins in rookie, I'm going to try to just simplify everything and make it easy. Okay, so you can see my yellow ring is right there at the rough line. Again, 0% at max. Perfect ball. Puts us in for 317 yards. All right, now we're going to talk about shot number 2. So this was my second attempt at shot number 2. I did play it the first time at 10% elevation, and, it missed onto the right-hand side, so I wanted to pull less rings. So I'm going to kind of just walk you through kind of how I dial in shots here. So if we go to this account, and yeah, we're playing with a power 1 ball, I want you to notice here, I'm going to play this shot at minus 25% elevation. All right, so we're pretending this shot is uphill. Now, I know that's going to sound a little weird, but I just want to show you the math behind it. So you're going to see here, I'm going to pull this 1 ring at mid-distance of my Goliath. Now, I had to take a lot of elevation off of this shot just because of how it missed on my first attempt. And I did hit a perfect ball on my first shot, so it was a lot to learn from. Okay, so you're going to see here, I've got most of my yellow ring inside the rough with just a little bit of it on the fairway. This is going to be our 1 ring pull, so you'll see this barely moves at all. Okay. Perfect ball. Now, we still barely missed this to the right-hand side, which is the way that we pulled. So there's a couple of things that we could do, right? We could go in here and say, okay, I could play at minus 30% and take 0.1 off. Even minus 35% still stays the same. Or we could play at minus 40%. If we would have taken 0.2 rings off and only pulled 0.8, obviously we'd be dead center for the eagle on hole number 1. Or you could offset a little bit to the left side of the cup. Now, the reason that I'm showing you this on hole number 1 is because a lot of people ask me why I play with the Goliath. And it's because of how little rings you have to pull. So you notice here that minus 40% is 0.8. Minus 20% is only 1.0. So your ring variations, especially in rookie, stay very, very low, which makes it easier for us to manipulate wind and elevation with our app here. All right, so as you can see there, we could have played this one minus 40% and dropped it in the hole. So that's what I would suggest that you do, and that's how I come up with my shots. You probably won't see anybody else play that minus 40%, but I just wanted to show you the math. Definitely works. Okay, 20% elevation at mid. We're going to be using a backbone, 1 bar of left side spin combined with about 2.7 bars of backspin. I want you to see my landing position here. Kind of just take a note of exactly where the end of my ball guideline is pointing. Again, this is 20% pull at mid-distance. Perfect ball. That's really, really stinking close. Unlucky to kind of dip in the hole and bounce out. So we were right in the cup, So the only thing that we need to do, right, is just move this landing position over a fraction to the right. So kind of what I'm looking at when I'm talking about my landing position is just notice where the end of this ball guideline is right here. If you just move that over a fraction to the right and maybe add a click more of backspin, that ball won't come in as fast and you'll get that ball to drop. This is a difficult hole to hit a hole-in-one on, but you can see we have a really good line at it. All right, that's going to take us into hole number 3. Hole number 3, again, I'm playing at 0% at max. Here's what I suggest that you do with your Titan. You're going to notice me, I was a little conservative here. All right, 1 bar of left side spin, 2 bars of top spin. I'm sorry, 1 bar of right side spin, 2 top. You could get away with more top spin, but don't go crazy with it. Maybe 2.5 or 3 bars. I'd start at 2.5 just to make sure we don't go into the rough. But the reason I suggest that is because you're going to see here that I left myself with too much room of fairway and rough. I really need to get this ball further up. Now, you might be asking, in tailwind, couldn't we just try to drive over the rough onto the next fairway? Yes, you could. If you're going to do that, I'm going to highly suggest that you play with a berserker, because if you get stuck in that rough with a great ball, you are not making it to the green in 2, and you're going to have to leave yourself with a chip-in shot, probably with your thorn or so, to save your eagle. So if you're wanting to gamble, absolutely, but make sure you go power 4 or power 5 ball. This route, the reason that I suggested more topspin on the drive is because, look, even with a big dog 8, I have to push up to max to make it from fairway to green, which means with my ball guideline, you know, I kind of have to just guess at how much spin to use. So here I'm at 1.8 top, 2 right. I pull my elevation here, 10% at max, then I push back up. Now, what I shouldn't have done, and I'm fine, is I went with a little bit too much overpower. I should have not overpowered this ball at all and just let the tailwind carry me. But you're going to see here, this is no problem. We stop on the fringe, leaving us for a very easy chip-in for eagle on hole number 3. This hole will eat up some opponents. You will see more birdies than normal on this par 5. Okay, here we go. Hole number 4, 20% at mid-distance of our club. This one is really, really stinking close too. Let's take a look at our spin adjustments first. 1 top, half right. Yellow ring at the rough, you see? Yellow ring at the rough. Second bounce just before the fringe. So second bounce just before the fringe. End of my ball guideline in the middle of the light green square. You see that? Second bounce before the fringe. Last bounce, middle of that light green square. Look at this one. Very, very, very close to dropping that one in for the hole-in-one. So, you know, obviously we come in here, we miss it just barely there to the left-hand side of the cup. So what do we need to do? We just need to move our target position over just a little bit to the right, okay? So instead of having that end of that ball guideline in the middle of the light green right there, let's go ahead and just move this over a little bit and have it more on the right-hand side of that light green square. Now, does that mean that every single person is going to drop it for a hole-in-one with that line? No, but it's the advice, and we are uber close to getting that thing to drop. So lots of people will hit it. Okay, hole number 5, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to go about this hole, and that's going to depend on your ball and your clubs. Here with an extra mile 8, we are going to be able to go for green, okay? Now, the key is to move our target over here to the right-hand side, kind of where that fairway has that little, I don't know what you would call it there, that rounded part, right? So you see I'm playing over here on the right-hand side, and I'm just making sure that my ball guideline is onto the fairway here. I pull this one at 10% elevation. I do not push up to max. Instead, I use just a little bit of overpower and some right curl. Now, I do that because I get controlled overpower. It's easier to hit perfect. This is exactly what I wanted it to do. You saw that I clipped the rough and I rolled out. This is a perfectly executed drive, and it puts us here for a very simple chip in for the eagle. Here I play this on 0% at mid. You can see just a couple bars of top spin shaded with a little bit of right side spin. This was hardly a ring pull at all, but I did want to do it for accuracy purposes, and we drop it in for the eagle. Now, if you don't want to gamble, absolutely understand. There's two things you could do. You could take an approach right over here. And how you land on this side of the fairway is completely up to you. You could take a quarterback and hook your ball around this bunker. You could take, your extra mile. If you don't have an extra mile 8, then you could absolutely play with a Titan, right? And try to do the same thing with the P3 ball. But you can see here, I'm using a little bit of right curl as well. And all we're doing is just hitting this thing onto the fairway. That's going to leave us with a rough bump opportunity. Now, here I played at 10% at mid. Had I played at 0%, I would have been in the hole. So you can see here we're going our top spin through the pin, yellow ring at the rough. Perfect ball. And we just pull it a little bit too much to the right-hand side. So, again, play that one 0% and you're going to be good to go. This takes us on to hole number 6. Hole number 6 is the drive that we have to hit perfect on, okay? We have got to get it through this little narrow part of the fairway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this elevation, right? I'm going to pull my rings, and then I'm not going to push up to max just because I know I'm going to use just a click of overpower. Now, the overpower is not 100% necessary, so just make sure that you take a nice controlled shot and that you're able to get this ball through that thin strip of the fairway. And now I'm going to show you 2 different ways to play shot number 2. Okay, this is the first way. This is the non-aggressive way. 6 back, 1 left. Ball guide line through the hole, as you can see here. It's barely through the hole, but it's through the hole. 6 back, 1 left. The shot here is being played 10% at absolute minimum distance of our club. Unfortunately, I hit a great ball to the right, but I'm only showing it to you because we can see the speed is really good. Now, who knows what would have happened with a perfect ball. I hit a great right and missed right. Perfect ball might have been in for the Albatross. Now, this is a rough bump opportunity. This, again, is played 10% at minimum distance. 2 bars of left side spin combined with 1 bar of top spin. Now, what we notice here is we're going to have to use more top spin. This ball guide line is not going to play true. As you can see here, my ball guide line is about 1 green square through the pin. But I do make my ring pull here. And I also hit a perfect ball, but the ball dies. So we do need about another bar of top spin to continue to, come into the hole a little bit faster. So you're going to have to figure out which way you're going to want to play that. And best of luck on that one. Okay, hole number 7. Here we go again. This one's 0% at mid. So 0% at mid distance. And I played my first shot 10% elevation. And 0% had it fixed. Or at least better, I should say. Okay. It's going to be very important here we know our landing positions. Yellow ring on the rough line. Now let's take a look at our bounces. These bounces on this course is how we know what to do. All right, so let's take a look at the very end of the ball guideline right here. You can obviously see it's on the left-hand side offset of the cup. And you just kind of have to look at those green squares and figure out what's the best way to describe it for you if you're taking notes. But this, again, is 0% at mid. Perfect ball. And we come in right at the pin, man, and we just barely miss to the right-hand side, just barely. So what do we got to do? We know what we got to do. We got to move this landing position just a hair over to the left-hand side, right? So right here is where I settle up on. We need to move this over to the left-hand side. So take a look at the very tip of the ball guideline. Notice to the left of that as a dark green square. Maybe we should aim in the right-hand corner of that dark green square. with about maybe 0.1 or 0.2 more bars of backspin. I hope that makes sense. I know I'm getting very detailed, but I think that's what helps, a lot of people if you're willing to listen to me talk for a while. But if we're playing a tournament, we play to win, so, we might as well cover it as good as we can. Okay, that's going to bring us on to hole number 8. Now, hole number 8, I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, you're used to gambling on some shots, so why not go from fairway to that little island of fairway there? To me, it's too big of a risk because it's going to take a really good shot, right? Like a technical drive, and I know it's only rookie. But in order to get it there, we're going to have to use a berserker, and we're going to have to hit a perfect drive and make sure that we have our overpower correct. I don't feel like we need to do that in this tournament. I feel like we can just go over here with a very simple navigator, right? Save our balls. Play this drive 0% at max. A tad of right-hand curl, a tad of right curl. And you're going to see why I like this way for sure. Check this out. We're going to be getting a very nice thorn shot at pin. Very controlled too. Now I want you to notice here I'm going 4 bars of backspin. And anybody who watches me, you have to know that I always say when you're using backspin on your thorn, you have got to make sure that you leave your ball guideline going into the hole. So you notice here how I reset myself. That bounce is going into the hole. And you're going to see why that is so important. Because we like to use the backspin on the thorn. It gives us a lot of control with our shot. But as you can see here, we get the slow roll. Had I not made that little adjustment there at the end and pushed my target up a little bit further, we might have stopped a hair short of the pin, and I would have been really mad at myself. Okay. Hole number 9. This is our trick shot hole. So what we are going to do is we're going to use overpower to get our ball to the top part of the fairway here. And that is the only way that I ever play this hole. We are able to make this shot here with a Kingmaker. You're probably able to make it with a Titan as well. But I did play a Kingmaker today just to make sure that I had it on a replay for everybody to see. Now, the only thing that I did wrong here is I get it on the fairway, but the only thing that I would like to do is play more of the right-hand side. We're going to be using these rocks to propel us over. And I don't know why it works, but it always has. Yes, this shot in headwind is much easier with a power 4 ball or a power 5. For sure. But you're going to see here, these rocks, they kick us up and they let us roll out onto the fairway. Now again, if I'd have been playing the right-hand side a little bit more, this shot would have been easier. But we're going to play this one 10% at max. You can see here we're using a lot of top spin. Ultimately, again, I should trust my ball guideline because I do use overpower here. And but it's no problem. We still stop at the fringe, I believe. But as you can see here, this is just too much overpower because I am getting tailwind. I got to remind myself that sometimes, hey, I'm getting tailwind, just take the shot as normal with only a little bit of overpower. Because this ball hits the green and it takes off on us a little bit. But you can see here, no problem. The fringe stops us and we're able to chip this thing in for our eagle. Hey, anyways, that's a qualifying round. I hope you like it. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe. And if you're bored tomorrow, tune in for the live stream. And hopefully we do well on it. Thanks for watching.